and welcome to probably one of the more odd ban stages and draft stages that you've ever seen. Because not only are we going to be able to see it in the lobby chat, but we are also going to be seeing it for reversed captain's mode, because this is the AtoD 3rd edition. Wow, English, it's hard. And captain's mode, bugged or not, we're going to go anyway. So I am here together with HamSandwich, and the draft is on its way. As you can see in the chat, we can't use the normal captain's mode, so we are drafting in the lobby, and we'll be having an all pick mode after this, so you are aware of that. And yeah, we are just gonna be trying to document everything in titles. So Ham.
Yes.
You already said Meepo during your introduction earlier. I mean, Meepo, one of the heroes that you do not want to get picked against you.
Correct. You don't want to be playing Meepo.
And what other heroes are you expecting to see banned out, apart from, of course, just seeing banned Timbersaw?
Well, Zeus was a very common ban in the last version, just because you sort of have to give him levels and put him mid, but you run into problems with his attack animation and the fact that it's really hard to play. As well as melee agi carries getting banned. So Anti-Mage, Void, Phantom Lancer, all getting banned. I mean, they sound like good heroes, but they're only good when you have support heroes to make sure they can farm in lane. They're not good at all by themselves.
Are support heroes overall normally drafted a lot? Because those, like, I guess the early game is very important in a tournament like this, and supports can make a difference.
Supports have been drafted before, and every time I've seen them, they've dominated. So, for example, last tournament, PGG was playing for iCCup when in the last tournament he got drafted a Bane. A Bane was given to him as like a gift, and he just dominated the game with a Bane Elemental because there was nothing to stop the grip. It was a ranged hero. It's a support hero, so it could actually do things and buy support items, and it just dominated the game. In another situation, there's a Jakiro given away, and that Jakiro just did so much work for his team because there was the stun there was the slows, and this is what you need to lock people down and have a good team fight.
So disable is gonna be really important. Just who gets a lot of disable, because I would imagine that you would try to not let your opponent have any form of disable, if possible, which is probably very hard to do, actually. Especially if I mean the rules. I mean you went through them already for the people on that are actually watching the stream right now, but not really, of course, for people that are watching the VOD. So I'm gonna ask you to do it again, just a quick rundown of the official rules of the tournament in general.
Alright, so the rules are you have to draft for your opponent one strength hero, one agility hero, one intelligence hero, and 2 of your 5 heroes need to be ranged. At least 2 of your 5 heroes need to be ranged.
Okay, one of the rules, by the way, you mentioned only 2 rules to me, so but I find it very interesting, like group stage tiebreakers, if
oh yes, yes,
determined by the number of kills. Why is that? So, why kills, not not time?
Well, whenever I've run tournaments in the past, I sort of like to do some experimentation.
Yeah. Gotta make sure people ban. Aren't we supposed to have 2 more bans?
There were 4 bans total.
Oh, yeah, wow. I'm stuck in the past. Okay.
Sorry, what was I on? Oh, tiebreakers. I mean, in the past, Joint Dota has done things as just a tiebreaker, as in if 2 teams are tied at the end of a group stage, they play a tiebreaker round to see who goes on. That sort of runs into trouble if there are 3 teams tied, because then you have potential of secondary and tertiary ties. The other thing is we've done it time ranking, which is, I would consider, a relatively fair way of doing it, but I just wanted to try something completely out of the box that probably wouldn't work for regular tournaments, but just say, kills, total kills win tiebreakers, and I feel like that's a good way to encourage people to be aggressive, to to show exciting games because that's what I want. I want lots of action-packed games. So just saying get as many kills as you can seems to be the way to do that.
It actually makes a lot of sense. The question is how much people would actually worry about it at the first couple of games, because of course this is the first game of the actual tournament, right? Of the group stage of
Yep.
Europe. Yeah. So we're the first two games. It's HWA, the Turkish team. By the way, after them going up against iCCup, are they still planning to go up against the retry even after this big delay that we now had?
Yes, they
Okay.
are still going to be playing against the retry, unless Dota crashes and burns.
Yeah, let's not hope that's gonna happen, because I think we've had our share of issues today. Kinda. This is a very
Yes, a
interesting way
lot
of
of
drafting,
issues.
by the way, because we haven't really talked about the draft, but we actually have the first two picks here. Both teams showing the same kind of way of picking a hard carry that has no disable, and actually one of them is based on luck.
Yeah, so HWA is going to be forced to lane their Mordred somewhere. The one thing that I've seen Mordred do relatively well in the past is off lane. You've got that long range stifling dagger that you can use to get a little bit of farm, and you're going to be given another carry, which might have better luck in the safe lane. So you can always think about putting that Mordred in the long lane situation. You got a dagger to farm, you got a blink to sort of escape if you got a creep wave nearby. So it can work. I mean, it obviously isn't a win runner or anything like that, but it can work in this sort of situation. Remember, again, you're against heroes that won't have that many disables.
Yeah, you're not against a super strong tri lane of any sort. You're up against a lane that you yourself eventually have picked out for your opponent, so you can work towards getting the tri/duo lane that you are wanting to, or even solo lane for that matter. Are you expecting any aggressive tri lanes in this mode, by the way? Because that would be quite interesting to see.
Um, I don't know. I don't even know if I'm going to see that many tri lanes, to be honest. Um, Tri lanes work well when you have two supports to zone out experience, but don't work that well if you're just sort of splitting experience three ways and never getting kills, never getting an advantage. So I expect that there's going to be um, maybe a solo lane against a dual lane, and have one dedicated jungler. That sort of depends on the picks you get, because right now there's Spectre and Morphling, I think,
Yeah. iCCup is gonna have to play
for
with that.
and I don't think either of them are great junglers. But Morphling may be able to do okay if you can stack the Radiant hard camp waveform onto the top of the cliff and farm it.
Yeah.
So I mean, you sort of have to think outside the box when it comes to jungling. Also keeping in mind that even if you do a slow jungle, and you're not going to be a Furion or Doom or anything like that, but even if you do a slow jungle, it can still potentially be successful because you have to remember the enemy team's going to have a slow jungler as well. So it's all about knowing what your enemy team has and sort of staying on pace with not necessarily what a regular draft game would be, but staying on pace and ahead of what your opponent would be at.
Yeah, I'm just checking. I don't see any draft after Spectre. I'm assuming the server still works.
I hope so. Oh yeah, it is really hard because you have like
You don't have. Well, you have to have the learn tab in front of you, basically. Because otherwise you don't know all the heroes, maybe.
yeah, that's I mean, we sort of deal with that all the time when we're watching games
Yeah.
is you're trying to remember what all the heroes are because when you're just in a regular draft mode as a spectator, you just see the five slots for picks and the five slots for bans. You don't actually get to see the full hero pool and who's capable of being picked or banned.
Yeah, and with this kind of draft, that's all the more important because I mean, you're gonna have to pick the heroes that everybody may have forgotten about because he just doesn't get played that much purely because he's not that good, not that great anyway. So you need to have the full information of what heroes you can be getting yourself, and of course which one you are going to be able to deal out to your opponent as well.
So iCCup
Ooh.
here is giving away Ogre ES, which I think is very dangerous. Those are two support heroes. They're melee support heroes that don't do that well, but they are support heroes.
And they have a lot of disable between the both of them. Like Fisher is probably one of the more annoying disables that you can get. And Ogre has actually been picked in competitive play. And imagine a Phantom Assassin with that bloodlust on him.
Yeah, I know it's going to be scary. The one thing that iCCup does have at this point is Morphling and Spectre, though, and both of them can get over the fissure. Morphling with Waveform and Spectre with Spectral Dagger. So they're not. I mean, the disable obviously will hurt, but the fissure itself isn't as big of an issue for them because both their picks right now have the ability of getting around that.
Very true. And now, of course, also there is an agility hero, a strength hero, and an intelligence hero picked up by iCCup for HWA. So all those three are out, but they have still got those two last range to go through because all heroes so far are melee. While for HWA they already got two agility heroes, and we just need to see one more ranged and one more strength and an intelligence. And of course, well, the intelligence hero is most likely gonna be ranged, so that's already that sorted out.
And they do pick Necrolite as their ranged intelligence hero. So HWA is taking care of their two ranged heroes. They still need to pick up a strength hero here, but other than that, everything else is all set. So the second ban phase I've actually found in this mode is probably one of the most important. Because of the rules regarding picks, you can sort of tailor your bans to get what you want. So here, iCCup knows that they are going to be getting a strength hero in the last two.
Yeah.
So you can ban the strength heroes you don't want. Just like use 3 bans, take out 3 strength heroes you don't want to play, and then HWA is sort of forced to give you a strength that you're more capable of playing.
Yeah, you can at least have the least worst, if you can get it that far. At least ban out the 3 worst that would not fit into your lineup. And the same thing goes, of course, for vice versa. I mean, 2 more range left to pick up by iCCup. Doesn't really matter what kind, but you can at least ban out the range that you absolutely do not want to have. And maybe find a way to still get yourself a disable in there.
Yeah, but
disable,
it means you don't have to burn any bans on melee heroes. So you don't have to worry about getting thrown a PL or an anti-mage or anything like that.
Yeah, and the first ban of iCCup now in the second banning phase is indeed the Skeleton King. So that is one strength hero out of the pool.
That makes a lot of sense. Although I'm still worried that iCCup has given away way too much disable.
It is a lot. I mean, one hero with disable, it's kind of inevitable. I think with the hero pool, you kind of can't not give away disable, but giving 2, and actually not 2 bad ones as well. Of course, the Ogre's stun is like 1.5 seconds, which is probably one of the shorter stuns there, not counting mini stuns. So might be slightly okay, but then again, you have the Bloodlust, you have the the multicast, and more importantly, you've got your second hero that got some chance in there. Both Phantom Assassin and Ogre are chance heroes, of course. Ooh, Huskar ban. iCCup.
iCCup, because they gave away the Ogre and because they gave away the Earthshaker, I don't think they want to be given Huskar, because Huskar again is one of those heroes that dies to disable, but does really, really strongly against things like slows, or because he has a great gap closer. So I think Huskar here is a great ban just to make sure that they're not stuck with it. Uh, I mean, it is a ranged hero. HWA doesn't have to give them a ranged hero, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to give them a ranged hero.
True. And just it's still a strength hero, and if you don't want to deal with it, and you kind of want to make sure you maybe force your opponent to give you a disable, because there's not that many strength heroes that actually don't have any form of disable. I guess Tree would be one, but again, Tree is actually
Well, his ultimate is sort of a disable.
True. Are there actually any other strength heroes without a real disable? Of course, well.
It's Lifestealer, and you're not going to go away a Lifestealer.
No, I don't think that is gonna be happening. So Night Stalker doesn't have a real disable, but he does have a silence and a slow, and he is one of those heroes that if you are gonna be playing a lot of heroes like a Phantom Assassin, Ogre, etc., Night Stalker is gonna walk in, and mid-game they're gonna be owning you. Ooh, Disruptor ban out by HWA.
Omni Knight is a hero without a disable.
True, but he has such a big heal though.
Yeah, again, he brings so many other things to the table that it's not easy to give it away. Lycan maybe is a decent choice, especially because he can't jungle very efficiently anymore, so you're sort of forced to put him in the lane. Either that or you can screw up his jungle really, really well if you have two support heroes.
Doom. What about Doom?
Doom jungles way too fast, I think.
Okay.
He just gets so much free money.
Well, it's a Spirit Breaker that they want to ban out for last.
So HWA is on their last ban at this point.
Wow. Once again, for people that joined halfway through, we are in a bit of an improvised captain's mode, because the captain's mode and reverse captain's mode for that matter, those options are kind of bugged at the moment in the client, so we're gonna have to do it this way. So drafting using the chat, old-fashioned way, and that's why you see those ugly titles standing there saying what people banned and picked, so that you know what's going on, you know who drafted what for who, and we will be going into an all-pick phase after this to make sure everybody gets the heroes they have, and then we can get ourselves, finally, a game of Dota. Well, no, we can finally get ourselves a game of AtoD. AtoD.
Yep. And Sniper is the last ban for HWA.
They still, of course, need ranged. At least one. Oh, no, they have all the. Well, no, they need ranged. Keep reading, seeing it vice versa, but they still need 2 ranged. So they all only ban out ranged heroes. Understandable. That is gonna be Sniper. And that is all bans done, meaning we are going to be going down to our last 2 picks for both teams. iCCup having the first pick in this reverse drafting mode. It is, by the way, all best out of ones. We are in the group stages of Group Europe for the reversed captain's mode 3rd edition. And more group stages after today's 2 matches will be on Monday. So make sure you don't miss those either, as by then we will actually have, I hope, the captain's mode, etc. working
I hope
again.
so too.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's set for tonight, because the Americas group kicks off tonight with Arctic versus To Infinity and Beyond, and that's at 7 o'clock Eastern, which would be 1 a.m.
And of course, for people watching, you can watch those at Neo Dota stream at 1 a.m. CEST time.
So those games, there's 3 games tonight that go, I guess, really, really early into the morning for European times, but are sort of prime time for the Americas.
Yeah, and it's of course only American teams. Well, I say that, but there's of course Peru and Brazilian teams also. But
yep.
At least all teams from the same kind of time zone. And I think we're actually running way over time. These teams, they really don't know what to pick. Like, let's see. I'm gonna actually scroll up.
Yes, we started the draft
at 8 minutes, or 7 minutes past 9. Is this is the longest drafting phase ever?
Yes, it is.
We're almost 20 minutes drafting phase. Well, you know, what can you do? What can you do? We actually missed one person of HWA again. So I hope that that he'll be here by the time the draft's actually done, so we can actually start. So I'm kind of interested to see how they're gonna be doing. We still are waiting for the first ban after the first ban of the second ban phase, I should say. First pick of the second pick phase. Wow. For iCCup. iCCup having some delay there. As the last thing that I saw you say was that we needed 1 strength for HWA. There is. Trex. Ooh, she is allowed here.
Yep, it's latest version.
Cool.
So Trex is allowed.
Hello, Drow Ranger. I don't know though. Drow can be so powerful, but again, well, I guess it's a big slow that you get also. I am not sure that this is the right thing to do here. And like, in the meantime, they don't get any disables for themselves. Morphling and Spectre, not necessarily great against a Drow Ranger. Necrolite might be actually a mid-game, early game actually. But mid-game, Drow Ranger is done farming earlier than Morphling and Spectre, if I'm right.
Definitely earlier than Spectre. Morphling I don't really know, because you don't see that much Morphling anymore. You won't see the shotgun build anymore, I don't think. Maybe you will. Maybe that's what Morphling does. I don't know, maybe they'll do a support Morphling.
That's true.
So.
Depends on what the last picks, of course, are going to be. So much depends on the draft here. I guess that's true for normal games as well, but it's, you know, it's reverse draft. Oh wait, what am I talking about? Oops. Of course, it relies a lot on the draft.
Yeah, for iCCup, right now they've given away Mortred, Ogre, Earthshaker, Drow Ranger. So for HWA, I think the best laning situation for them is Ogre, Earthshaker plus whatever ranged hero they get in bottom. In top, because they're dire. So in the safe lane.
Yeah, for HWA, yeah.
You put Mortred off lane, like I was talking earlier. Just get as much as you can with that dagger and blink escape, and then Drow Ranger middle. Like, complete pub Drow Ranger middle, just farm and farm.
And since you're not up against a super strong mid yourself, or at least you would imagine that you aren't, considering you pick those heroes yourself, even though Necrolite mid might actually still be good, but she'll get her farm up, and she'll be such a devastating power then, if she actually has an okay mid. That's all she needs to have. I mean, she doesn't even need to have a really good mid, just an okay mid will do.
I think she'll do fine against Necrolite. Necrolite can't really kill Drow. And because there aren't going to be many gankers on the field anyways, you're not going to see heroes, like roaming heroes, that much. At least not ones with disables. Drow might do really well.
And there is the stun that HWA are going to give away. Slardar.
That's a decent stun to give away because it's such short range.
Yeah.
Keeping in mind they also gave away Necrolite. So there is the ultimate from Necrolite, which is a big stun. And I guess if you go Strength Morphling, you could use Adaptive Strike as a big stun as well.
Yeah. I'm just checking to see what people said, but that is just people repeating what has been picked so far. The only thing about Slardar, I mean, you did mention the Necrolite's ulti being a disable a bit as well, but Slardar, his own stun, if he wants to really put it to good use, he needs that farm, he needs that Blink Dagger. And the question is he gonna get it this game? Though, if he does get it, he is amazingly well against a Drow Ranger. Amazingly decent. Good, actually. Because standing in range, no more aura for Drow.
Mortred is really good. Sorry, Mortred's on the same team as Drow Ranger. I've confused myself. I was going to say Mortred can just jump on Drow Ranger, but that's not actually going to be a problem.
No.
But Spectre Haunt can really screw up Drow Ranger. Morphling can get it into position. And then Slardar, once he gets that Blink Dagger, can go right up in Drow Ranger's face.
Yeah, that's actually pretty decent. Especially the Spectre Haunt, I wasn't even thinking about that yet. And even the Morphling, I mean, just reform in and you're right next to Drow. And that's all you need to do to kind of shut her down. Just not run away from her. That's the number one. You'll die anyway, and you might as well try to kill her instead. In the meantime, we're still waiting for the last pickup for iCCup. Taking their time still. They still need to pick up one ranged hero before they are done with the draft. Actually needing some more space. Oh. In my brilliant overlay show. This is the most awkward overlay I've ever had. But it's kind of nice though. Like, it has something to it. It's okay. Oh, I shouldn't do that. Last pickup. It's been a 25-minute draft. Yes, it has been. So iCCup. What do you think? What ranged hero would still be decently bad enough to give away? Because that's.
I think Zeus. But Zeus does a lot of damage. I don't know.
Well, then you have to decide like if you're gonna put a Zeus mid or a Drow Ranger mid. But it would be nice. Well, Zeus in a tri-lane doesn't really work out all too well, but Drow in a tri-lane actually would. Be okay.
Maybe you give away Lone Druid. That Lone Druid can jungle too well.
Yeah, I don't think Lone Druid is really the one that you want to give away. Maybe like you don't still want to give a support.
Shadow Fiend might be okay.
Lich? Shadow.
I think Lich is too good of a support. I think maybe not. I don't know.
Well, Shadow Fiend might be decent, actually. Like it's only range. That's the trouble. Oh,
although Shadow Fiend with Drow together might be really scary, because then like Shadow Fiend's just gonna be unstoppable with the Drow Ranger aura.
True. Well, one last. Still needed. Witch Doctor? Nah, that's too annoying. No Witch Doctor.
Maybe you go Wisp. I can really TP around.
You can go carry Earthshaker though. Then you can TP around.
Yeah, or Mordred, I guess.
Yeah. Well, yeah. True. If she doesn't go hard lane. And Pursuit is starting to wonder as well.
Jakiro.
So good of a disable though.
Yeah.
And you already gave like and an Ogre stun and a Fisher, so
Nature's Prophet.
It's jungle too fast.
Maybe, but it doesn't have a disable.
Stroud, semi-disable, but yeah, pretty decent against Slardar. What's this?
Invoker maybe. So I don't really have a place to put an Invoker. I guess I could just Invoker mid though and throw away the Mordred off lane.
Yeah, I have Drow on a tri lane still. Is there still a ranged hero that is... There's no more ranged strength left apart from the Wisp, right?
That's correct. Huskar's been banned.
Yeah. And then you have agility ranged, all not too nice to have.
There's still a few. There's Razor still around. I don't think you want to give away Clinks. I think Razor and Shadow Fiend are the two best ranged agility heroes left.
Maybe you have to hope that the opponent doesn't have a good micro player. And just pick up a Chen. Or pick up a Visage. Oh my god, what are you gonna do if they have to random?
Oh,
they do Shadow Fiend.
I was just going to use a random number generator from 1 to 100 and pick whichever hero is in there. So they pick SF.
Shadow Fiend. Typing out all the names and it actually fits. Barely. Let's see if HWA already picked. That's not me.
Nope.
What?
Last from HWA arrives, so we're gonna go as soon as this last pick.
Cool. Well, last one should be there.
It can be any hero. They've satisfied all the requirements.
Well, a strength range. What? No, just a strength hero. Just a strength hero is all they need. No, that's not true. What am I talking about? It can be anything. You just said that, didn't
Yep.
you? Yeah.
Can be anything. Yes, they have 2 range. They have 2 agility, 1 strength, 1 intelligence. So it can be. They've satisfied all the requirements. They can go with any hero in the pool.
Anyone that they find worst. Well, they just had like about 5 minutes to think about it.
And they probably settled on Shadow Fiend.
And they
That's the worst
probably
hero.
they have to think again. Well. And then the Razor, but a Razor is actually pretty decent that you didn't give that away, because he can just drain the attack damage, and since you're, for example, Phantom Assassin, if she comes close, you just drain her and that's fine.
Yeah, but again, that's we're thinking ranged heroes again, and HWA doesn't need to pick a ranged hero. They can pick any hero they want. So
go fast, they say. Well, wait, they say instead. Well, maybe then still
Slark, Bloodseeker, Broodmother.
Bloodseeker might actually still work, I think. No disable, apart from
no
the
disable.
Rupture.
You've got a silence, but heroes like Drow Ranger, Shadow Fiend don't care about that. You only have to worry about Earthshaker and Ogre getting silenced.
Yeah, and Drow Ranger can silence in return, of course. Shouldn't forget that. So this, and yeah, I think it would actually be quite decent.
And where are you gonna lane if you're iCCup and you get given a Bloodseeker? I think you sort of have to jungle it. You do
A Necro mid still.
Yeah, Spectre off lane, and then Morphling Slardar.
Yeah, and then let Slardar take the farm.
Yep.
Morphling try to get as much as he can with the.
Oh, they give Undying. They take Undying.
Whoa, that is actually a pretty big giveaway, I think, especially in the laning phases, if they are going to be more important. Undying. Oh, undying. Boom. That is the draft complete. But one thing that I do clearly notice about the heroes that have been picked up, iCCup has picked up the heroes for HWA with the longer names than on iCCup. It's very clear.
Well, it depends if you Drow Ranger or Shadow.
I typed Drow Ranger, Phantom Assassin,
Okay.
Shadow Fiend, and the other ones was just Morphling, Spectre, Slardar, Undying, etc. So we are gonna be loading into the game in an all pick mode. For people that are wondering what the hell is going on here, well, I shall tell you. We are here with the reverse captain's mode version of Dota. So we are here with the 3rd edition of the AtoD. And we are casting this together, as in me, myself, and HamSandwich here as well. And we are in an all pick phase right now because the drafting phase is actually bugged in Dota right now. So that is why we did the draft in the chat with brilliant titles, etc. there. So all pick mode works. That's why we have like a 2.
Oh, they can pick heroes. I'm so happy right now.
I was almost worried that you were gonna be saying that, oh, they can't pick any heroes, but yeah, they can, luckily. We are gonna be finally getting ourselves a game. And even if with all these delays, I mean, I have to say the drafting phase really took too long.
It did. I got linked a bunch of links like after we had already started about a program, just like a web program about drafting more efficiently. But then it was too late at that point. They were already like 3 or 4 bands in, and I was just like, yeah, oh well. How can this be take that much longer? But then, anyways, it's done now. The game has started.
And we are in the game.
All right. So anybody who's wanting to watch on Dota TV, what you can do is you can navigate to the community tab, go to the team list, search for either HWA or iCCup, then you can click view profile, and then follow one of the team members into the game, and it should work perfectly.
Yes, of course, no ticket yet available, but it will be. It will be. When it is available, the games will not be available through Dota TV anymore, apart from if you have the ticket, I would imagine. So make sure you get the ticket once it's out, but for now, enjoy your free games in Dota TV. Free to watch for everyone. So let's just quickly go over who is playing what. As on the Dire side, we have HWA. The draft done by iCCup for them, of course, and they're going to be taking home a Drow Ranger plus field. He'll be going to the top lane. He'll, of course, be supported because we have an Earthshaker played by Yobi, and the other one with a disable is going to be LJXXXV, and I should know what kind of number that is in Latin, but I don't actually know that, so that's Ogre Magi played by him. In the mid lane, we have got Necroman playing the Shadow Fiend, so Shadow Fiend mid. It's going to be a very secure one for them, of course, as he has been pulled a bunch of tangos, so we'll be able to pick up a race ban at the start. We have got Elwind playing the Phantom Assassin, and like you imagined, like you said, it is going to be him on the off lane. Actually picks up himself a haste rune. Maybe looking for some first blood, perhaps. And just like iCCup is looking for some first blood, perhaps on the top lane.
They have to be careful of this fissure. They can get cut off and split in two if Yobi lands a good fissure here. That's the one thing that iCCup does have to sort of be aware of in this lane. They can counter initiate really well with the Slaughter stun, but they can't initiate themselves very well at all.
Yeah, we see instantly wards being placed down, but the counter ward's already there. The only downside is they just have to walk on the other side, and they don't do that for now. Too much risk here. But we are going to have an aggressive tri lane.
Yes, I'm excited. And I'm surprised that iCCup is aggressive tri laning, but I guess if you're given an Undying, that's sort of what you have to do.
So you want to still introduce the iCCup, who's playing what?
Sure, we've got Mag playing the Slaughter. It's going to be taking the farm, I think, which means that Necrolite by Always Wanna Fly, sorry, is going to be the support in this lane. Ouija6 is playing the support Undying. We've got Resolution in the mid lane playing the Morphling up against Shadow Fiend, and that leaves Jackal taking the farm and bottom lane as Spectre.
Yeah, also, well, you already said Spectre as the solo lane at least. But since they're an aggressive tri lane, it's going to be the solo safe lane, even though she doesn't have any supports with her, so no pooled lane or whatsoever, so the lane is actually quite nice in range for Elwind, as they I think they'll be okay. In the meantime, on the top lane, we might have an engagement. Fisher going through, Always Wanna Fly, in a lot of trouble, can't find a way out, will be going down. Yobi picking it up. In the meantime, though, Sandsfield having a lot of issues. Ouija6 will be able to land another decay, at least pops up the salve, but here comes the Crush, looking for a kill on the Earthshaker instead. Nice stun though, and Yobi will be walking away with his life, still has a lot of tangos in there. And Drow Ranger also a bit low HP hero actually, so we'll be able to also eat herself up to full with tangos, and actually got helped a bit by that decay that was still on her, making her tangos actually heal a bit more than otherwise. I think that works that way.
Yeah, Drow's not gonna have too much trouble in this lane because Slaughter is again a melee stun until he gets that Blink Dagger. There's not really much chase up in this lane. Only Necrolite can really harass you. So as soon as HWA initiates, they're gonna be doing really well in this lane.
And they only have to be worried about the Undying. Once he gets his Tombstone up, of course, he'll be a deadly force. But he first has to get level 2, and that's gonna be quite tough. So far, they want to give Mag most of the farm here, and also most of the experience. So we just actually still level 1. The same thing goes for Always Wanna Fly. It was actually gonna pull now to pull the lane back again, to make sure they actually have a bit of space to maybe still go for that engagement that they want to have. And I mean, they already lost one life. Not really ideal, but that's what the disables do to you, I guess. They have to be careful. Not too careful though, because then you have the whole aggressive tri lane working against you.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Now they've got to be really careful here. That fissure isn't going to actually catch anybody, but if Necrolite's far away, farming creeps, that's sort of a cue for HWA to jump in, and at the same time we see Morphling going down in the mid lane.
Yep, it is Necroman that therefore definitely gets the advantage, and Shadow Fiend is one of those heroes that when he gets ahead early game, he can snowball real fast, but it looks like Resolution might want to throw some harassment back at him. Not enough to do anything more than just that though, and there is still a bottle up on the Shadow Fiend, and he's actually going to try to find himself lucky with a 4-minute rune perhaps? Or not even going to risk it, going to send the courier first. In the meantime, Mag sitting on 9-4 with Stansfield sitting on 10-2. So aggressive trialing not really working out, having already lost the first blood, and also not really out farming the Drow Ranger or stopping her from farm. I mean, out farm is not even needed, but just stopping her from farm would be nice to begin with. Always Wanna Fly actually started to take some last hits since Mag can't get in range. And the rune actually regen top, but nobody is gonna go for it, even though both teams have vision on it. Oh.
And one thing the Shadow Fiend has been doing in mid lane is, rather than maxing his Shadow Rays, he's been maxing Necromastery, and that combined with Drow Ranger's True Shadow Aura now at level 2 means that he does a ton of damage every right click. He's doing already 120 damage per hit.
That is actually really insane for having only 4-5 minutes into the game. Something that Morphling... I mean, Morphling is one of the heroes that can actually do something about it, because he can just morph himself more into strength, but it does mean he loses some kill potential. And then he's gonna go for the regen rune still, but Necroman is just gonna be a bit faster because he's got boots, while Morphling does not have boots. In the meantime, we have got a rotation. We just rotated bottom. Gonna be forcing Elwind out of the lane. They realized their aggressive tri-lane wasn't really getting themselves where they wanted to be, and therefore want to just give Jackal a bit of extra farm.
iCCup is sort of in a disastrous situation here. Phantom Assassin, I think, was probably beating the Spectre. It was really close in terms of actual like last hits and denies, but Phantom Assassin gets level 6 and suddenly that changes because 1 or 2 right clicks on Spectre can suddenly mean a big deal. Always Wanna Fly is gonna die here in top lane.
Yep, can't get himself out of that one. And in the meantime, in the mid lane, we also had Necroman diving the tower a bit. He almost got himself resolution, but he backed himself up way far. And of course, I mean, the whole reason Always Wanna Fly was able to go down is because Mag actually left the lane. He's gonna be able to land a crush up on Necroman. Warfling coming in with a weave form, but the TPs come in. It's gonna be the Ogre lands a stun up on resolution. Make sure that nobody is gonna be chasing Necroman to his death. And that is gonna be still no kills on the side of iCCup.
Invisibility.
Maybe it's gonna change with the bottom lane chasing after Elwind though.
What all Elwind needs to do is chuck a Stifling Dagger and he's basically a free escape.
Yep. Oh, Invisible Earthshaker looking for another kill. Fisher gonna go down. He's actually gonna be safe. No way for Necroman to get in there in time. And he doesn't actually want to dive. I mean, his HP are not looking really too well for him right now. But you see the desperation of iCCup. I mean, they're rotating. They're trying to get stuff done. But it's not working in their favor right now.
It's been a really good start for HWA. Now that they've sort of had that, they can leave their Drow Ranger alone, at least for a bit. And rotate their support heroes around to support the other lanes that potentially could be in trouble. But even so, Elwind is still getting CS just with that dagger, even if you can't go up to right-click creeps.
Yeah, and he's doing fine. He's 34 for 4. While we actually see Jackal just walking back to base, no TP or nothing. He is 35 for 5, so he is quite even. In the meantime, we do have Zig maybe in a bit of trouble. Need luck, Elwind. Where's your crit, dude? No crits, no kill. He's already level 7 though. And he has been given some support. Joby and Ogre Meja hanging around there with the smoke up. Always Wanna Fly gonna be the target. Haunt's gonna get juiced though, and that is gonna be scouting out everybody. And of course, that is something that you can do. Just haunt and get yourself a kill in the mid lane. It was Spectre that they wanted, Spectre that they got, Spectre, Shadow Fiend that they wanted, and Spectre got Shadow Fiend. So kill going the way of iCCup finally.
Yeah, this top lane is going to actually be big problems for Mag, though, unless they rotate some more support around. Stansfield is more than happy now that he's got level 6 and does a ton of damage just to right-click Mag whenever he goes in for a last hit.
Yeah, and they're actually on the bottom lane. They're gonna dive Always Wanna Fly. There comes the stun, the blink in, and that's gonna be 1 crit that's needed, and the Fisher to finish it off. Yogi getting the gold. And that is gonna be another kill going to HWA. I feel like they have the control, and that's only because of the disables that they have. And the way they are able to run their lanes with actually having 2 supports. While iCCup, I mean, Always Wanna Fly is here as a support. And even though Necrolite is an okay-ish support, he's not really a support. Like, he does better in a tanky position, especially later on in the game, while for HWA having 2 real solid supports with disables is really giving them a lot of good things right now. As we see Max staying alive on 6 HP. Stanfield though, not so lucky. Going down, TP out there for Mag, and he is able to stay alive. Jackal coming in to save him. Looks like we're gonna have another dive on the bottom lane though, always wanna fly. Fisher once again, and hello Elwind coming in for the crit in the first blood, last hit that is.
The Sisters of the Veil honor your death.
And Elwind is getting as much farm as he wants. He's still top CSer in the game now.
Radiant's bottom tower.
And I mean, that's your off laner, that's your suicide lane, so to speak. He is top of net worth, top of everybody in the game, and doing really well. In the meantime, we still have Stansfield not doing bad either. He has now died once, so that is his letdown, but he is one of those heroes that can just farm really fast. Jackal though, I think he's able to do fine in here. Oh, hello.
Oh, Resolution's in trouble.
And he's dead. Yes, he's dead. The Haunt is still gonna
The
be
Ogre
there. Maybe
may-
able to kill off the Ogre Magi. The dagger will do the job. Killing spree for Jackal. We might be able to see him do some intense work here, because right now with that kill, net worth just changed into his favor. Though 50 gold difference is really nothing, but the difference is there. Whoa, Tombstone goes up because here comes Mag, gets a crush, and that is an amplified damage. Necroman gonna probably go down, but takes a double kill with, and the Fisher helping him out, and of course, whoa,
he gets a triple
kill, Tower helping him out, and well, that's worth dying for right there.
Is under attack.
That was, I mean, he only just skilled his Requiem of Souls, like really just.
Yeah, getting that one raise is all that mattered.
Bottom tower
Yeah.
is under
Right on the
attack.
3 heroes right before he died, and that got him the triple kill. I don't think he would have. He may have got 1 kill, but definitely not 3.
No, he wouldn't have been able to kill the Undying afterwards. And it was all, of course, set up by the Fisher. I mean, if the Fisher wouldn't have been there, he wouldn't have had the time to get that raise off. And he got it, so he got that kill. Important for him because, I mean, he was gonna die, he knew that. But the fact that he's now one step closer to his Shadow Blade is pretty big. He already got a Shadow Amulet right now. And once again, net worth going in favor of HWA, with the gold craft, of course, going the way as well. In the meantime, Resolution is going to be the target once again, morphing into Strength. Fisher is going to try to slow him down, at least to stop him, but he is going to be fine. There's still a crit, but it doesn't matter. TP support coming in. Hello, Mag. Amplified damage just for some vision. Not going to be able to chase, though. Not with that dagger to slow him down, but we do have 4 heroes of iCCup on the bottom lane. Maybe looking to get something done. Maybe trying to go for the Ogre Magi's. Fisher would be there though to stop them, and they even knew it, so they back off.
And this is sort of the problem that iCCup is running into. HWA, if they don't want to fight, they can just leave. Where iCCup doesn't always have that option if they're blocked by a fissure or get caught in an Ogre Magi stun, or even some slows out of both Phantom Assassin and Drow Ranger.
Oh, we might see Jackal trying to go for Stansfield here. The drums are used, the dagger is on, and that should be a kill if he gets there in time. No T support coming in, and that is gonna indeed be a solo kill for Jackal. And a big one for that as well. He has got himself drums complete. He's got face boots. He's starting to look really good. As for Drow Ranger, has treads 1k gold. I mean, still not looking bad, but now died twice. And it's starting to be worrisome. Talking about worrisome, nice Fisher. Does help out We Just Dig a bit, because Elwind therefore got put out of range. And actually that Spectre coming in, looking for a Haunt, looking for maybe Yobi to go down, but she doesn't actually TPs herself into...
They get that Shadow Fiend though. That's what the Haunt was for.
Yeah, we get him Shadow Fiend on the top lane, getting helped out by the by Mank on this Slardar. And Shadow Fiend gonna be the one to go down around there-ish. The bottom lane action is not yet done though. Always want to fly, just gets dropped. Tombstone goes on. Elwind's actually going to be able to take it down in 3 hits. Big one for him, and we'll be able to kill off VJ Stick as well with the crit. There we go. And that's a tower down as well, and that's going to be Stansfield money to take.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
In the meantime, there's no tower down yet on the side of HWA.
They're positioning to take this top tower, but it's still got a lot of hit points, and HWA can put themselves in a position to defend it really easily.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
I'm actually really liking this Spectre build. It's an early game oriented Spectre. Make sure that there's no way iCCup can just farm a Spectre and go for the late game. They're doing all they can to get it done in the early game. And that's why you see Face Boots drum. Spectre's just gonna run down, chase Drow Ranger when she's alone. Can chase down the Shadow Fiend or even the Mortrid. It's just the stunning heroes that she really can't chase down at this point.
Now, what do you think about Phantom Assassin's build then? Because she picked up a Helm of Dominator actually. So it is a fairly okay item. I mean, it gives some nice armor, it gives some damage. Armor. Well, it does
I think part of
too, of course, but
part of Dominator first is sort of Elwyn saying, at least in the early stages of the game, I'm not going to be able to get Battle Fury. Obviously that might have changed given the success that he had against all these heroes in bottom lane, getting both kills and assists, as well as the tower. But picked up that Helm of Ironwill really, really early to sort of stand in lane against the Spectre.
oh, they want to take Elwyn down. Resolution gonna be morphing towards his illusion. Elwyn though, there's no creep wave to jump to. He can't really get anywhere. But then there is a lack of disable. Oh, unless, wow, they didn't really expect that. If they would be expecting that, that might have been something there. But no, they can't. No, they can't. And they are still smoked up. They're looking for a way in. Gonna be maybe going for the tower, maybe going for a gank up on Stanfield. And never mind, they're gonna go back. Wow. Double damage on Jackal. I feel like they should be finding some action.
I think they're really looking for Elwind or something.
Oh, but look at the rotation coming off from HWA at the same time.
This could be really bad for HWA if iCCup knows this is going on. And they see it, they spot it.
Yeah, there they go. Crush up on the Earthshaker. No Fisher, that's gonna be huge. He's only gonna go down. We have got a Tombstone up, helping out with the work, but we just Zig still going down. Nice. Shadow Fiend going down as well. Elwyn getting crushed. 4 down. HWA, like you said, not gonna be able to pull it together. Inspector, of course, MVP with the Haunt, creating massive chaos there in that fight for, well, both the teams as me, actually.
Spectre's early game build here is really benefiting them a lot. The Haunt illusions do a lot of damage, and the fact that not only was the crush on target hitting Earthshaker before the fissure, but then there was Necrolite ultimate to follow it up, and that just made sure that Earthshaker wasn't going to rain on the parade by dropping a fissure in between the fight.
And if you see these two teams, and the game is actually going to be 50 minutes, based on draft, who's going to be coming out ahead? I'm actually thinking it might be iCCup.
iCCup, I think, has the stronger carrying team. I mean, you've got Earthshaker and Ogre, who are definitely early game heroes. I mean, so is Undying, but Necrolite they're using as an early game hero right now, but definitely does transition into the late game a lot stronger than the other two on HWA.
Yeah, and at the same time, I mean, HWA, their pushing power, not really too big.
Well, they got Drow and Bloodlust, or Shadow Fiend and Bloodlust, I think, can be really big at killing towers. And then they've got, of course, the Shadow Raises just to blow up creep waves.
That's true. Yeah. I'm gonna see it because I would then think like HWA are also aware that they don't have late game as well as iCCup might have it, so they would try to get something going right now rather than waiting for it and waiting to farm. But they just did. I mean, I have to give it to them. They just tried. They just found out that iCCup wanted to try as well, and it didn't really go into their favor. So I'm kind of curious to see what they're gonna be doing now, because this is a tough position to be in. I think they're gonna go for Roche. That's what they're gonna be doing, and they should actually be able to take this. And they
have a lot of damage.
That Bloodlust helped them out so much.
They have Aura from Drow Ranger.
Aura from the Shadow Fiend. And that's actually a very fast Roshan for 17 minutes into the game. And his Necroman that picks it up. He is the one that's also highest up on the net worth. His Shadow Blade is complete. He's got 1400 gold. And he is looking just really well for himself. As we actually almost have a mechanism ready on Always Wanna Fly. That's gonna be pretty huge in these team fights. As for HWA, I mean, that's probably one of... Like, I've been saying it as a good thing the whole time, having two supports. But both of their supports kind of don't have a mech anytime soon. We have Earthshaker building for a Blink Dagger. He's got his mana boots almost as a Blink Dagger ready. But who is gonna build their mechanism?
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's not gonna be Drow, Shadow Fiend, or Phantom Assassin. It's gonna have to be Ogre, but he's going to have a mechanism at like the 90-minute mark.
He is so poor, yeah. That is gonna be tough for him. He only died twice, actually. I mean, he's got boots. He's got 600 gold.
Yeah, but he's been buying wards and walking around not getting last hits.
Yeah, trying to soak up experience, whatever he can, without taking too much away from his carries, I would imagine. I mean, that's a big downside of having to have a Shadow Fiend as well as a Drow and a Phantom Assassin. As a support, you really, like, even if you can, you are not allowed to take any of the farm anywhere on the map because your carries need it more than you do. That's so tough. I feel for them as a support player. Nope.
Yeah, you always... I mean, there is the stack pull that you sort of want to do as a support hero just to get as much money as you can, even though you're not in lane, but Ogre is not a ranged hero. He doesn't really have a creep farming ability. I mean, he can Fire Blast a creep, but that's only one target. Is Ignite not great? So he's just sort of following the Shadow Fiend around and getting experience.
Yeah, we actually have a Diffusal Blade ready up on Jackal. So that's the item that he wanted to go for. I kind of like it though. Like normally in a game where there's either a Morphling or a Spectre or a Wisp with a carry hero for that matter, I say something like, you know, you get with a Wisp carry hero, you get the same idea as having either a Spectre or a Morph because you can just farm and when the fight comes you can be there anyway. Because either the Wisp Relocate, which is of course not here in this game, but we do have the Haunt, and we do have the Morph into your illusion. So the same thing goes here, the carries can just be anywhere where they want to be, without putting themselves at high risk of course, and just farm. While still being able to be there in the fights when they happen. And they probably don't really want to fight. Because the last fight went their way, they bought themselves some time, they're gonna be okay if it comes to very late game, or at least that's what they probably are assuming, which... I mean, you kind of confirmed, depending on heroes only, of course. That's definitely not all it's gonna come down to, but in theory, anyway. So they are in a pretty good position right now, and that Blink Dagger on the Slardar is actually also done, so they do have their own initiation as well. And they might actually try to use it, because they are looking for a kill, maybe up on Elwind.
And that enhances the usefulness of Slardar's stun by a ton, getting that Blink Dagger. They have spotted out Morphling.
Invisibility, though, is there.
I think he just popped it and the Hellbear saw it, maybe? I'm not sure.
No, I think the blink came from someone else, but we'll find out at least. They don't know that the Shadow Fiend is there, perhaps. Well, the TPs are gonna come in. They realize that's happening. They so do. And they're gonna be going for Weejazik first. He's gonna be able to soul rip once before he goes down. There goes the Hunt, though. They want to go in. Mag comes in from the side, blinks in, crushes. Only hits on Elwind. There goes a heal, goes through, stun up on the Necro, and Necro gonna be silenced up, gonna be having to run for his life, not gonna be able to do so. Mag also silenced up, can't do anything. Spectre gonna be bursted down. 3 for 1 so far. Necroman still alive in all of this, blink away from Mag, and he is gonna be able to TP himself out. But that is not the engagement that iCCup really wanted to have, and HWA playing it perfectly, and those silences, really nicely done. That's something, I mean, that Drow Ranger has, of course, got max sheet level 14. Good fight for HWA, and they already took the tower, so they can't really take too much in return for this. I don't think they can get a tier 2, or what do you reckon?
Well, there's a lot of damage. If you look at Shadow Fiend does 200 damage a hit, Drow Ranger does 200 damage a hit. iCCup is going to need all 5 to defend this.
And they're going to be trying to. Necroman actually hanging around a bit longer. It does show himself, though. Dagger, Elwind. Don't play too ballsy now.
I think he wants to get his Aegis away. That's what Necroman is sort of wanting to do.
Well, he can. More TP's in. Elwind actually gonna be able to be still alive after getting stunned up. They're Mag coming in. They're getting silenced up. Can't do anything but run. Elwind might actually still die from that thing floating behind the pulse.
With the Bloodlust, I think he's fast. He's fast enough.
Yeah, he should be faster. Yes, Face Boots also. He's gonna be able to run from that. Should be able to. I can't really see it when it's out of the vision. That's a bit sad, but he has Face Boots. It's gonna hit him when he's already in the base. But that was, again, I mean, iCCup played that perfectly. They didn't lose anybody. They didn't get any kills off the back of that either. But they forced TPs, they forced ultis, and they almost got the tower.
Yeah, they're sort of experimenting with how much advantage they have. Realizing that I think they really did want to have iCCup engage on them, because then Shadow Fiend could just lose his Aegis and come back really big with a big ultimate. Because the only way to stop Shadow Fiend from getting his ultimate off is a Slardar stun, which has relatively long cooldown, or a Necrolite ultimate, which was used earlier in the fight on the Phantom Assassin.
Yep. And didn't really do that much good to begin with. I mean, he wasn't low enough to get that go down. Fisher, resolution, trouble, another sun coming in. Not lucky with the oh, haunting. Maybe want to go for this.
They can
They're
get
actually gonna go for Stansfield. He is gonna be slowed down slightly, but not enough for Jackal to chase down. Maybe gonna be able to find himself a Shadow Fiend. No, Shadow Fiend finds him instead. Double damage Shadow Fiend though. That's something you don't want to be getting in range to, especially now with Bloodlust still on there. Look at the damage, insane.
From all these heroes, it's the two ranged heroes that really are buffing each other. They've got the negative armor aura for both of them, and then Drow's precision aura, which just makes Shadow Fiend hit really, really hard.
Yep.
And he's got like a permanent, at least 1.5 damage rune with just that Drow aura. And part of what iCCup needs to do to sort of shut down the Shadow Fiend is to kill the Drow, or to at least get up in her face.
Yeah, you can either kill the Drow or you can kill the Shadow Fiend, but the trouble is, even if you focus on one, the other one is still going to be able to kill you off. It's going to be very tough. And Manta Style is now going to be there for Necroman. So even if they try to focus on him, well, they actually won't. They now, like you said, they have to focus on Drow. I mean, not only for the aura, but just purely because they can't really kill Shadow Fiend.
I sort of like this HWA coordinated builds on each of their carry heroes. They are building a Manta Style. Phantom Assassin has one. Drow Ranger has one.
That's gotta be so annoying in those fights though. Whoa, the resolution, morph into strength for your life. The crit. Elwyn might actually be able to pull this off. No more mana, but he doesn't really want to be risking his life by jumping into the rest of iCCup. Tombstone will still be going down. Actually, was that a deny? It might have been a deny. Looked like a deny.
I really like this as well out of HWA. There's not that much area of effect coming out of iCCup. They do have the Necrolite to sort of throw his crap out on illusions, but Slardar, his only area of effect needs to be used on main heroes and making sure they're disabled, so they don't. iCCup really doesn't have much to clear away illusions. And this is what HWA needs to break the high ground. They can, if they get sort of stuck in a stalemate position where they're sieging tier 3 towers, they're gonna have those Manta Styles. Everybody can Manta Style all at once, and then you've got 6 illusions going up the hill and right clicking the tower down.
Yeah, without putting yourself at danger, you might actually be able to get it. With just
got a smoke gank here now from iCCup.
And they know they need some action. Looking for it. Mag not having his BKB ready though. Wondering who they're gonna be trying. The ping goes off on Necroman. He pops his Manta Style though and walks away. Kinda giving away that he actually, well, Manta Style. That was just an illusion orb actually. Illusion. Sentry Ward does go down because they realize he went away, but he's not gonna get himself caught out. Just sticks around, knowing that everybody is missing on the map. This is trouble time for HWA, and they show it. I mean, they're very careful right now. Maybe looking for their own engagement instead. Oh, they find resolution. Silence misses. He still jumps after it though. There goes the man to stop resolution himself, but he will be able to back away.
It's just posturing for Roshan by HWA.
They're gonna just be able to take it down. Unless iCCup decides to fight. Maybe with a Blinking Crush they might be able to do it. Elwing gonna be able to throw out some more.
It's just so fast.
That's just so fast. Shadow Fiend gets it once again, and that is gonna be the Morphling illusion going down. Well, no, not another one for another 70 seconds, so iCCup, they scatter, they back. But I think HWA, they actually want to take something out, make something out of this instantly. Maybe going for Jackal still. Tries to TP out in the middle of the tree, should be able to do so, no vision. Boom, out. Safe. And they can't find him anymore.
They're sick of just lagging behind a little bit, so couldn't blink forward and just launch a blind fissure, just to prevent the TP.
Yeah, and they can't defend their
Radiant's
tower either,
bottom
look at
tower
that.
is
Even
under
with backup protection, draw ranger.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
3,500 gold up on her already as well. HWA might want to try to go in for a killing blow here. I think they are looking so good right now. Actually, they really don't want to give up towers, do they? Coming in, defending. A tier 1, tier 2 also.
Yeah, this is why give up an advantage when you don't have to.
True. They're so far ahead right now, though. I mean, not just in gold, which is 10k, experience, which is over 10k. Haunt going in, actually, want to help out. Stanfield gonna be going down. Mag picking up the kill.
To the dead zone with you.
Wow.
This is what iCCup needs to do to claw their way back into the game. Shadowfiend only does 200 damage is a lot, but Shadowfiend only does 200 damage without Drow Ranger on the field.
Is under attack.
True, but it's in
Oh, I
time
was on
though.
the fly.
Supports
Dead.
are gonna be going down. We already saw the Undying going down, and now also always wanna fly. And HWA, well, they might have lost a carry, but they make sure that there's not gonna be anything that iCCup is gonna be able to get off the back of that, apart from maybe a tier 2 on the top.
Is under attack.
But they're gonna have to go back soon to defend themselves.
top tower
Mid lane,
has
tier
fallen.
2. Looking squishy.
Radiant's
And that's
middle
actually
tower
only 2
is under
towers down on the side of HWA. Only the top lane cleaned out. With 4 towers still left standing on the map on their side, and only 1 left standing now on the side of iCCup.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
I mean, that of course is a lot of the gold difference right now as well. Ooh, Basher. Elwind.
Illusion.
And there's a blade mail on Spectre. I was wondering where that broadsword was gonna go that she had earlier, and I think that's just sort of when you got a Drow Ranger and a Shadow Fiend. I mean, Shadow Fiend's got 1,400 hit points. He's gonna kill himself in 7 hits if you pop the blade mail.
Oh, Elwind, trouble. There comes a stun though. Jackal's gonna be the one that's in trouble. Matt comes in with the crush, but it's Jackal that has to run himself out of there. Run for his life, which he does. He's gonna be able to TP himself out. No vision to go for another stun. Nicely done for him. And of course Mag was able to jump himself out of there with blinks and hastes and everything. I think they tried to go for a repeat of last time. This time though, HWA going in more prepared than before. And we actually have got Shadowfiend picking up his own Helm of the Dominator. So it's gonna be maybe the same build on everybody, because every carry on their side has got a Helm of the Dominator. Necroman looking for maybe a kill. I've got... Oh! He just needs to right click those, and that's 3 hits and done! The heals were just not enough.
Undying can't do anything at this point to stop Shadow Fiend. Oh, now Resolution's gonna find Necroman.
Yeah, and also has to run. I mean, at this stage, if your carries have to run from your opponent carries by just right clicks, I mean, it's gonna be so tough. Shadow Fiend's own illusion is gonna be getting himself bursted down. Well, no real surprise there. There is actually a sentry ward up on the low ground, but there's no vision up on the high ground for iCCup to actually counter that ward. While I think it should when they get that vision there. And Stansfield's actually gonna go for a butterfly probably still. I mean, HWA, they just look so far ahead. The draft, it's all about the draft, really. Almost all, and then when you lane it, I guess.
I don't know if saying Ogre and Earthshaker are what did it though. It's the I think it must be the Drow Ranger. The fact that Drow Ranger had a decent start.
They go in on the Earthshaker. Mag multicasted to death. Yovi is gonna try to run away. Still has a dagger on him, but nobody else to chase him down. Jackal is gonna be running himself back. Here comes We Just Zig. And here he goes again. Goes down very fast. Shadowfiend making sure of that. And it's gonna be melee racks that are gonna get picked up. Jackal coming in for the last try, but he gets silenced up. Can't do anything. Still gets the Aegis, but gets a Fisher as well. Gonna try to make sure people kill himself on him. But that's not going to be happening. Elwin jumping himself in, finding also Resolution there. Is going to be going back. Necroman, he doesn't care about Resolution. He just wants to kill stuff after killing off the melee Rex. Range Rex go down as well, courtesy of Stansfield. And actually, HWA all looking very low. Nobody going down, though. Apart from the Aegis, which is actually pretty nice. But that was, of course, HWA's point, because Aegis would otherwise disappear in a couple of seconds. 40 seconds or so.
HWA again, just pressing their advantage. They sort of got themselves into a good position where all their lanes were pushed. That's something that I've noticed that they do in regular games as well, is before they make a big push, they make sure they're not giving anything away for free. At least if they don't have to. I mean, they're willing to take trades when trades are the right thing to do, but if you don't have to give up a tower, why would you? Just keep your advantage as big as possible. Do whatever it is that you can to make sure you're in a position to win the game.
Yeah, just like you said when they went to defend their tier 1 tower earlier. Basically their kind of play style then, and they're just gonna make sure they're safe once again. Now the butterfly up on the drow, gonna see more items coming up soon, as Necroman has actually got 2,500 gold again, with the Phantom Assassin sitting on 3k after her
Yobi in mid lane.
Yobi mid lane goes down very fast. Wow! What was he thinking there?
Oh, you got smoke ganked.
Well, I do get a tower off the back of that kill, but they will be forced back very soon, because I don't think HWA this time might be trying to go bottom instead of trying to defend their tier 2. Now the pings go out actually. They will have PA sitting around there, so that might be able to help out, as well as just the fear that iCCup might have of getting jumped. Fortification. There's a TP. There's only one though. Only one, might just be enough. There goes the Haunt in towards the bottom lane. They go for a crush, get themselves up on Stansfield. And Mag already going down. Stansfield though, getting killed up as well. Gonna be a 1-for-1. Diffusal blade up on the Magi. Will try to TP out, but alas, that is Resolution getting the kill. Good defense, I guess, for iCCup. Was a nice one. They don't get the tower though, in the mid lane. What do you think of that engagement?
I think that was sort of the best sort of thing they could have asked for. Slardar may have been able to live, maybe, if there was a second crush, but Drow Ranger, even when you're in Drow Ranger's face, she still does too much damage with Mana Style and Butterfly.
Yeah, she is just a beast right now. Level 19, I mean, if you look at the overall levels, there's 2 level 19s and a level 18 on the side of HWA, which is basically the 3 heroes that are their carries. And then the carries on iCCup, if you can call them that, I guess. Spectre definitely is level 19. And then Morphling 17. And then Slardar level 13. So that's quite a big difference there. That's
Slardar
showing in the experience graph, actually.
Slardar has been working his way towards the Black King bar, just trying to be able to stand up in these fights. But I really think that everybody on iCCup should just buy a Ghost Scepter at this point.
And Ghost Scepter is actually already up on the Shaker.
And Morphling just picked up Ethereal Blade. That's a really, really good pickup. He's going to be able to make either Drow Ranger or Shadow Fiend, or even Mordred not be able to attack. Like, even if you just ignore the damage portion and the nuke portion of that item, making it so that one of the enemy carries can't attack for a bit is going to be something that iCCup really, really does need.
What do you think of the combination of Ethereal Blade, and will then the Reaper Scythe of Necrolite actually kill off that target? Will that be enough nuke?
I think it depends on the target, but if you look at all these...
Mostly Drow and Shadow Fiend.
I mean, Phantom Assassin, 1600 hit points. Shadow Fiend definitely at only 1400 hit points. And Drow Ranger, yeah, if it's maybe not at level 11 or level 2 Reaper Scythe, but level 3 Reaper Scythe I think for sure could kill some of these heroes outright with just that combo.
And of course you still have, I mean, with the Reaper Scythe on, you still have a bit of time to get at least one Death Pulse off, so it might actually be the recipe they need to get a kill off on one of the carriers, to just make it 4 on 5, because that is really what they need right now. They can't really fight head on. That's just that simple. They just don't have the damage, and we also almost... they're really going for the same builds. They almost have a Butterfly up on Necroman as well. Fun times. iCCup. They just are forced to farm together. I actually just, when checking the levels, I mean, Undying level 9. And then you're gonna be up against a level 19 Drow Ranger. Well, you're not gonna be happy then. Let's see if Elwyn can find himself a kill. Jumps in and always wanna fly. Here comes the Honk though, and Elwyn is actually gonna get bursted down. Mag with his BKB looking for a target. Jackal actually haunted up to Yobi, who's gonna be able to run away with the Ghost Scepter. It is gonna be the Ogre Magi that's not gonna be as lucky though, because no Ghost Scepter for him. Yobi's Ghost Scepter actually ran out. He finds himself dead
Mag.
after almost getting a kill up on Mag. 60 HP, all you need to live really. Great engagement of iCCup. And that Haunt making all the difference. Taking the fight to 2 different places at the same time. And getting a pick off of Elwind that fast. And that actually wasn't even the burst down with the... Well, actually it might have been. It probably was. With the Ethereal Blade. Was used, right?
Yeah, it was. I think Necroman here wants to just blow everybody up. He's gonna go for it.
He's gonna go for it. He doesn't kill off anybody though, apart from when he actually dies. Picks up the Slardo, who was already very low to begin with, but now, I mean, look at their HPs. That's gonna be Roshan killing off Ouija's thing. Roshan still goes down, but nicely done. At least killed by neutral, but getting the most of that one, I guess. But it is gonna be an Aegis up on iCCup, and I dare say, with this Aegis and with the development on the items, it could still go either way, even though HWA is definitely ahead.
It's HWA sort of is in the position where they just want to run down a lane and fight you at your own tower and do as much damage as you can from the back with the Drow Ranger and the Shadow Fiend. But if iCCup can sort of get the jump on HWA, find the fight that they want, get Haunt in there just to screw up Earthshaker Blinks and burn some of Ogre Magi's mana. If they can get these sort of scattered fights, then I think that that's exactly what they need to do to win the game. Get 1 or 2 heroes picked, and then just fight on from there. And the Ethereal Blade and Reaper Scythe combo is going to help with that.
Yeah, and that's a big powerful weapon right there. I'm actually also now just seeing that there's a Heart of Spectre, Mantis on the way. He's looking pretty good also. I mean, he's on the top there with the carries, of course, from HWA. I mean, the difference is still pretty big, I have to say. But it did came down from about 18k gold advantage to 10k. Pretty nice if you still have 2 towers to take down. And iCCup actually want to be using that Aegis real fast. And they smoke up, looking for a pick off or maybe just jump the gun on someone and then getting a tower in return. At least a tower. They do where are they going to go though? I mean, look at HWA being so careful.
Morphling has picked up a gem, so they are going to have the ability to see Shadow Fiend. Oh, and HWA spots the smoke because Spectre picked up the Illusion Rune.
Yeah, the ping came off. They draw wrong on the minimap. That's some comfort, but yeah, they do show it, and that's gonna be HWA even more on the toes, even though they already were on their toes. Right now, just being very careful. Even only Shadow Fiend actually going out to farm. Maybe thinking he's safe with the Shadow Blade, though he actually is not. But the rest of HWA just sitting in mid. And there's a Satanic also ready up on the Phantom Assassin.
Drow at this point, I think, and probably Phantom Assassin too in a bit, are going to be forced to go Black King Bar.
And they need to stop. I mean, they need to get that crushes out of the way. Stop being Reaper Scythe. Ooh, lands, Jackal, trouble. Tower still goes down. Jackal getting the gold for that, but they do go. The burst is there. Drow Ranger gonna be the first one to go down as well. There he goes. Ogre Magi getting killed off. Can they get one more? At least they lose, of course. They're undying. I mean, what else really? And they are still trying to take down Elwind, who was still hanging around at the back. He's gonna regret that one. Well, the rest of HWA already was in. Blanket, Fisher, Yobi trying to go for big plays. Almost gets mag, but goes down. But Necroman will at least be able to finish off that one. But it's still 4 for 2. And it is Jackal looking for a kill up. Necroman walking the other way, but at least tier 3 tower is gonna be open for them. Resolution, the creepers are attacking you, dude! One raise. Oh, never mind, cheese.
He's got a cheese.
I was wondering, like, okay, that's kind of risky. Well, there goes the tier 3 tower. iCCup pulling it even. Necroman still hanging around there, but the gem there, meaning he can't really walk in there and do anything. He does still have the Requiem of Souls. He has got another Matistyle in a second. But there's gonna be a burst down. And there's a Diffusal Blade as well. He is gonna go down. That is an entire team wipe. In the meantime, Ogre Magi is alive. But really, what can you do with that one? His first half is not even done yet. And that is iCCup taking a massive fight and taking racks off the back of that as well.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
And they're going to pick off the last outer tower here from HWA, so it's, well, no they're not. There's too much backdoor regen.
Illusions are going to be doing, actually, the Illusion's going to be doing nothing at all. The lane was totally pushed out towards the bottom. Always want to fly. Getting some farm up there. He does have his Ghost Scepter, so that is nice. Undying though, I can't help but feeling sorry for him. Like normally when your team starts being on the winning side, I actually have a bit of lag.
Yeah, I just got lag.
Everybody has lag. I think. There we go. Oh, fixed again. But I mean, normally when your team is gonna be on like turning it around, you're gonna be in team fights, you're gonna be getting those levels and gold and thinking, yay, I get levels and gold. But he dies still at the start. So fast. And then
I always want to fly. In a lot of trouble down here.
Oh, mechanism heals, not gonna be happening. Silent stop. I mean, I saw him on the bottom lane when he was pushing it out. I didn't think he would actually continue that far. That's kind of risky for a support. He's having so much gold. Might have to spend it on the buyback if HWA actually decide to go for this, which they might actually. What do you think they are gonna do? Because right now iCCup, I feel like they're confident enough to be able to still take this, and I think HWA might be feeling a bit pressured to the point where they might feel a bit desperate.
I think that's sort of the wrong maneuver for HWA to feel desperate. What you need to do is you need to get all your buffs up on these heroes. Get Shadow Fiend here, make sure he's bloodlusted all the time. Fight over next Roshan maybe.
Which, well, next Roshan is gonna be very soon. Well, very soon, what am I saying? 4 minutes. 4.5 even. Wow. I do like the experience graph though. Going from 18k back to above the 0 line, even just above, it's a pretty big comeback from iCCup here.
Yeah, it's just been these 2 or 3 fights in a row where they've managed to get a good Necrolite ultimate on the Phantom Assassin. I don't think, like, nobody has a Monkey King bar, so it's all just magical damage to take down this Phantom Assassin. They've got Necrolite trying to do what he can. You've got the shotgun build from Morphling, and then you just finish it all off with a Reaper's Scythe. And pretty soon that's going to be a level 3 Reaper's Scythe, which means it does even more damage.
Yeah, and getting a BKB this late of the game has of course got one big advantage, and I'm talking about the Drow Ranger, because she has hers almost complete. It's still going to be a 10-second BKB for the first time. And you're only going to be using it in those big engagements because you're not going to get picked off anymore. At least you shouldn't be getting picked off anymore at this stage of the game with 46 minutes into it. And that means that's a very long time to get everything of yourself up, to get your whole team fight going. And might be able to pick off always want to fly at least before anything else.
Yeah, it'll mean that there's going to be no more shotgun on Drow. That's what happened last fight. They blew up Drow really quickly, which meant that Shadow Fiend's damage was like cut.
Yeah,
at least
he couldn't get anything in. He actually backed off while Elwyn still went in at that time. Well,
yeah, Elwyn was sort of caught in a bad position there, thinking that his team was going to live longer than they did. Because putting Phantom Assassin on the front line isn't a terrible thing. Only 2,200 hit points, but with that 35% evasion, really does make her pretty tanky.
Yeah, of course, the Satanic helping her get back up on her feet after she drops too low. And Shadow Fiend got himself a BKB after going for the Talisman of Evasion, just going straight BKB. He doesn't have it. Oh, he actually already picked it up. Yeah, there we go. Already saw that.
Everybody wants to have the same items. Phantom Assassin doesn't need a butterfly because it's already got evasion.
Yep. And she doesn't have a BKB. She's the only odd one out right now. But look at HWA. I mean, they're so careful. They don't want to be forcing out anything. Actually, they smoke up. They want to force out something still. They are going to be grouping up, going for a pickup. And Resolution is the only one who might be slightly in trouble right now. And he doesn't have a Morph Illusion up. He's going to walk up to a bunch of heroes. The smoke gets revealed by him. Morphs up to the high ground. Decides to just farm a bit while he's at it anyway. And kind of waste his smoke. Of HWA, Jackal's gonna find himself Elwind. He's gonna be using the Fusel Blade. Necroman comes in though. Here comes the Manta Style trying to help out, as well as the Blade Mill. It is gonna be a jump away towards the rest though. Mag jumping into everybody. Here comes the Requiem of Souls. It is Mag that goes down first. Still, We Just Dig, of course, gonna get picked off again. But it is gonna be Elwind, very low on HP. Jackal still alive and all this. Will still want Elwind, but won't be able to get him. Goes down. It is Morphling that is able to finish the job though, and now man fighting. It is Resolution that wins the man fight. Ultra kill for him, able to burst down everything, gets away with his life as not the only one, because I always want to fly. He actually wasn't in that fight. No, he was.
Bought back. He bought back.
I was gonna say that's impossible if he wasn't there. That is an amazing fight for iCCup. Probably best that they could have hoped for with the smoke going up on HWA. Even though I'm kind of surprised they still went in after revealing the smoke.
The difficult thing for them though is that they can't actually push, at least not very effectively. By the time they get to the base, I mean, Earthshaker's going to be up, Ogre's going to be up, which isn't that much, but against a Morphling that's only half hit points, it's probably enough.
Yeah. Maybe, is he going to solo Roche? He might be trying to.
He's got really tanky illusions right now.
Oh, he made the mistake of having them attack. Oh,
a little bit of lag there.
Yeah. Well, good to know that it's not just me then. He's going to have help if always want to fly. Might be able to do this, actually. I don't think that HWA know that this is going on. They probably think they... Or do you think that they think? I don't know.
I'm sure they know that it's Roshan time, but there's nothing they can do without their heroes up. Like, the only thing that Earthshaker and Ogre can do is walk in and die.
There's gonna be and in Aegis and a cheese picked up by iCCup, teleporting out into safety, and that should secure them their next fight. The only trouble is, where is the next fight gonna be? I think it should be for iCCup the one to force it out when all their lanes are pushed out. But HWA, of course, they're gonna try to not let that happen. But they can't really force out their own fight. It's gonna be tough.
HWA is stuck in a situation where Earthshaker is their best initiator, but if he doesn't get that initiation properly, or iCCup is spread enough around, there's nothing really else that that HWA can do to start a fight. Especially now, Shadowfiend's Shadowblade has been countered by the jump, so he can no longer be that initiator.
Just maybe try to use it as an escape if Morphling is not there. The problem is, Morphling is there.
Yeah.
And I mean, he was the one that was the whole time there in the previous fight. By the way, one thing I didn't mention, I mean, I looked at the experience graph and we saw it going back to 0, but now that we actually have heroes level 25, experience graph is going to be worthless because in the end, it's going to come down to 0 again because everybody will be level 25 if the game lasts long enough.
Undying does have a long way to go to get there.
Oh, he's level 13. Oh. He has a Ghost Scepter though. I have to say, he lived longer in previous fight than he has in Aegis. He actually got the experience of 1 kill, I think.
That's all you can ask for at this point. He also got the experience for Roshan. He was up in time that he could walk into the pit.
The lucky guy. It is iCCup trying to force something out though. Maybe having one of them burned up by Morphling, who actually morphed into a bit of extra agility after picking up Scotty. And he does not have buyback. That might be troublesome. I mean, that's gonna be all the more important in the next couple of team fights, but I feel like I was gonna say, I feel like he's...
Oh, there goes Earthshaker.
Oh, yay. And that is, yeah, I was gonna say, he feels like he thinks he's immortal, but he does have an Aegis, so he kinda is immortal, I guess. And by the time the Aegis runs out or he dies, he might have had buyback already, his gold. Fortification goes up, Mac looking for the initiation.
Earthshaker's got a buyback.
Yeah, you're gonna have to use it. Fortification is already down. Looks like we're still gonna see HWA trying to go for it though, but Yobi comes in to die once again. Max still gets picked up. Elwin! Gonna get bursted down, but the Satanic doing the works, and he's back to full HP. It's Morphling that's on the floor. Well, the gem is on the floor, not Morphling actually. He doesn't have the gem anymore. Necroman in trouble, 50 HP. Elwin buys back as Ogre Magi goes down, Drow Ranger goes down, there's only 1 hero left alive, and now 3, well I'm gonna say 1 hero left alive because Necroman can't really do anything. He is super low, Barracks go down, oh hello, Morphling, triple kill, Jackal coming in, getting silenced up. Pops a blade mill to delay his death a bit, but it looks like he might still die. Never mind, Cheese. Hello, Cheese. And hello, Hunt. Looking for a pickup stance, but actually taking a lot of damage from that illusion. Might actually have to run there. He actually is gonna be almost bursted down. Resolution might look for a rampage, but I don't think he's gonna be in time. Oh, unless Yobi comes in for a free death. Oh, silence up. Resolution. Aegis. Still there. buybacks upon buybacks upon buybacks. But Resolution not going to be having his Rampage. Actually going to have his Age is going to get ticked off and still get the rack. So good fight for iCCup, though I think it could have been a bit more cleaner. But they were winning that fight. And they knew that, so I felt like it got a bit messy at the end.
Well, at the end of the day, they get the barracks.
Yeah, they definitely win that fight. HWA, yeah, doing what they could. I mean, I found it brave for Vyobi to give his life for a second time, just jumping in and getting
I think he
himself
should have bought back a little bit earlier when the racks were still up and blinked in on top of the zombie tower just to get the extra Echo Slam percussions from each individual zombie.
And he just gives away 130 gold to his opponent. Gonna be having the tower still picked up. They just want to go for Mega Creeps. Look at what the hate they threw at that illusion from Morphling. Insane. There's gonna be Mega Creeps though. And
oh, that was
hello.
Shaker.
That was your Shaker again. Ethereal Blade doing the works. Oh, they might be able to get Jackal though, getting stunned up, but it's Necroman taking a lot of damage. BKB won't stop right clicks, dude, run! It is gonna be Stansfield also on the run, getting slowed down, even through his BKB, and that is gonna be him being held in place, not gonna be having enough loss of HP for Always Wanna Fly to get a kill there though, but the GG is called aggressive GG. No, that wasn't an aggressive GG. Yobi called GG first. It is gonna be Elwin that still dies. It is gonna be Mega Creeps. And iCCup take the first game of the AtoD third edition. So the reverse Dota mode, 3rd edition. Group stages of Group Europe. Normally I say something like quite convincingly, but this wasn't actually that convincing. It was a very even game. And I actually thought HWA was gonna take it.
It looked as soon as that mid-rex went down for HWA, and they looked to be in complete control of the game, but it was just a couple sort of skirmishes around by iCCup. They managed to pick off 1 or 2 heroes and then take these 4v5 fights that really brought them back into the game.
Quite insane game, I have to say. I kind of like the idea that Drow Ranger didn't win a game.
Yep.
The first gaming competitive
Since being added to Captain's Mode is 0-1.
0-1, Drow Ranger, put it in the books. Well, we'll be seeing another game of HWA. Let's see if they can.
Actually, I have to say that we're not.
Oh.
PGG has said that his team has gone to bed because it's like 5 a.m. where they live.
Well, that's probably a bit exaggerated, but it is, I mean, the time difference, and of course the game was planned up a lot earlier. A lot earlier. And actually a good time, because I feel like that something is throttling my internet. So let's just jump ourselves out of the game real quick. Oh, do you have any shoutouts, by the way? I think those are still gonna go through. Oh, I'm stopped lagging. It's cool. Shoutouts?
I'm gonna have to shout out to Valve for getting the patch out, and a preemptive shout out for giving me the ticket and making everything work perfectly for the next games.
Okay, so this is of course, people, the ticket is not available yet in the store, but it will be. How much will it be? Tell us.
I have no idea, actually.
Oh. Well, that's gonna be a surprise then. Make sure you buy the ticket. Of course, this game was available inside the game client for free, as the ticket is not yet there. And all the next games will be available through the ticket. And I think this one is able to get added to that one as well, right?
Yes, I just had to find the match ID.
Okay. So that's this one is gonna be added, because I think it was a good start of the group stage. I think a great start actually. I don't know. I don't really know that much AtoD game. So anyway, the next game for the AtoD is AtoD 3 AtoD. Yeah, I say it right. It's gonna be tonight. It's gonna actually be in like 3 hours, 2 hours, 2.5 hours ish. It is gonna be Group Americas. If you want to watch those games, you go to twitch.tv/NeoDota, where you can find the games being casted. It's gonna be 3 games, if I'm correct. But if you're wondering about that and about who is gonna be actually playing, I am gonna be doing some self-promotion, because of course you can find them on my own website, where you can find a match ticker of all the games of today and tomorrow, including who is casting it and where you can find it. So make sure you check out SheeverGaming.com, where you can also find all the VODs of all the games of all the casters in the archive. And you can just search by tournament there. As of course also the AtoD theory is in there as well. So as soon as I'm done here, you're going to be able to find this one as well when it's up on YouTube. So make sure you check that out. And you can of course follow me on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube, all under the same name of SheeverGaming. And I think you have a Twitter as well, etc. Did you already shout those out? I don't think you did.
Oh no, I didn't. I'm at HamSandwich Dota. And I think my Twitch TV channel is somewhere. I don't remember what it's called.
Do you stream?
Very rarely, but every once in a while.
Okay, well, if you stream, you're probably going to tweet it out. So even though he doesn't know his Twitch name, follow him on Twitter so you know when he does stream. And thank you for co-casting.
Yes,
Also,
thanks for having me.
I mean,
it was a nice surprise.
Thanks for allowing me to cast. I mean, it's your tournament after all.
I guess that's true.
So.
Well, thank you for agreeing to cast.
Yeah, thank you. Well, you can do this all day, I guess. Yeah, well, shout out to you in that case for organizing it, of course. And we'll be seeing, I don't know what we'll be seeing. It's actually not that late in matchmaking, but I'm not sure yet. So stick around anyway to watch commercials, because that's good, because that supports me. And we'll be jumping out of this game. And otherwise, have a good night. There we go.